Hi, my name is Dr. Brenda Costa, and the purpose for this recording is to provide you with an overview of Patrick Lencioni's 5 dysfunctions of a team. Now, I know many of you have participated in a team, whether in school, one of the collaborative projects at Wright State, in the workplace, possibly on a sports team, volunteer organization. The list of team opportunities is endless. And I'm sure within different team experiences, you can identify things that went really well or some things that didn't go that well for an organization. And what I really like about the model I'm going to give you an overview of is Patrick has really summarized what I have observed in working with teams and organizations for over 30 years. And I can really look at teams that did well. Some of these elements existed. Actually, most, if not all of them did. And teams that were not as successful, did not perform that well, often were lacking in some of these areas. So to get started, the first element of Lencioni's pyramid is trust. So he says that if teams have an absence of trust, it's going to be very difficult for them to perform well. So I like to flip this more on a positive side. So it's really important that teams have a foundation of trust. And trust encompasses not just follow through, but vulnerability, the willingness and the ability to admit mistakes, identify strengths, recognize weaknesses. Once a team has that foundation, then they're more comfortable having constructive conflict. So the second part of his pyramid talks about a fear of conflict. Teams who are scared to have disagreements typically don't perform very well because not everyone has an opportunity to share their perspective, what they know, what they think may be helpful for the team to succeed. And then the third level is commitment. If I don't trust my team members, if I'm not comfortable sharing my opinion about the direction we're going, odds are I'm not going to buy into decisions that are made within the team. It's going to be the meeting after the meeting, right? A decision's been made. You go to a couple confidants that you have, and yeah, this too will pass. We won't worry about this decision. But if you have a foundation of trust, you're comfortable sharing and being open and honest in your opinions and your perspectives, then when a team makes a decision, you're more likely to be committed. And once everyone is genuinely committed, it's harder to avoid accountability because the other danger in teams being successful is people don't hold themselves accountable, or there's no one, or team members don't hold each other accountable. But if we've all committed to a decision, we've all been heard, then we're more likely to be able to hold each other accountable, even if it's just ourselves holding ourselves accountable. And then the final one is a dysfunction of a team is when there's an inattention to team results, but primarily to the results of them as an individual. However, if we're holding each other accountable, we're all on the same page. We've been open and honest. We've made a commitment. We have a foundation of trust. We're more likely to really pay attention to the results of our team. Did we achieve our goal? So if you're lacking in trust, teams aren't comfortable being honest. No one really takes responsibility, holds each other accountable, or celebrates successes. That's not going to be a very solid team. However, if you follow the pyramid created by Lencioni, you're going to know if we can establish trust, which may take a longer than you'd like, but once you establish trust, the speed in which you can get things done really accelerates. You can be comfortable having productive conflict. You buy into decisions, you hold each other accountable, and then you celebrate successes. So as we go through this course, we're going to dive into each of these elements of the pyramid. I look forward to a great semester.